On today's DNVR Buffs Live, today is the day. East-West Shrine Bowl, the 100th game in that series being played today. 5 Buffs with an opportunity to ball out. Big recruiting update. Quentin Gibson gets his 4th star. How about that? Travis Hunter makes history. And I might know when the Big 12 schedule release is coming. Let's go. Squad. Happy Thursday. Welcome into Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota Stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. DNVR Buffs Live. Big show today. Lots to get to, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shrine Bowl is tonight. We're going to start with that here in a second.
Let's go.
Some recruiting stuff that is positive. Maybe a little bit of the hate shining through from some folks as well.
Per usual.
Per usual, of course. Travis Hunter, just doing Travis Hunter things. And yeah, we'll maybe talk about the Big 12 schedule release. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing well, man. It's Thursday. Dynamic duo back in the building, bro. We both got a fresh cut in here. We ready to slide to New Orleans this weekend, bro. Feeling good. How about you?
Can't complain, man. I'm in this like weird period right now because just got back from Shrine 2 days ago. That like I'm already looking forward to Super Bowl, so I'm kind of just trying to get through the next few days here so we can get to that point. But it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, lots of Super Bowl coverage coming to y'all next week as well. So stay tuned. Man, it's the off season, but
show is
Super Bowl's gonna treat us right. I've got faith, man. Let's start with the Shrine Bowl. We got quite a bit of stuff to get to, some practice standouts, all practice teams, if you will. If anyone really wants to dig into the practice film and dispute these guys, I guess, then go for it. We'll talk about Shilo Sanders. There's been some stuff going on with him as well. But with this Shrine Bowl, of course, 5 Colorado Buffaloes, Shilo, Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig, Jimmy Horn Jr., LaJohntay Wester, and Will Sheppard, with an opportunity to ball out on a big stage. Games at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, NFL Network. The hay's kind of in the barn already, right?
Yes.
They've gone through the interviews. These practices, they do matter because people are evaluating, as we're going to talk about. But this game is like it's where it all comes together, right?
100%.
It's where you can prove to the NFL and everyone else that you are a quote-unquote gamer, right?
Right.
That you can do it when the lights are bright, which I don't think we have any doubts about that for the Colorado guys. We'll do a little bit of projections here in a bit, but what are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking for these guys to put on display what we've seen the last couple of seasons. Some of these guys who've, again, been at Colorado for at least 2 years, Jimmy Horn Jr., Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig, Shilo Sanders, and obviously the 2 receivers who, spent one, pretty excellent year at Colorado, Will Sheppard, LaJohntay Wester, all those guys pretty much put on a pretty good showing these last, week or so of practices. And these practices do matter, but it's one thing to do it in practice. It's a whole other thing to do it, in live situations when it's the whole world is watching, on NFL Network. That's what will be streamed live tonight. So, and again, like you mentioned, that's not something we're worried about with these guys. These guys are used to having millions of viewers watching to tune and watch them play, week in and week out. So, yeah, I mean, we're expecting some highlight catches, some big hits from our secondary guys, potentially a punt, a kick return touchdown, or at least a large chunk return from Jimmy Horn Jr. or LaJohntay Wester. Just another feather in the cap of these guys as they try to elevate their draft stock with the draft, right around 3 months away now, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yep. Really, like, the first check mark is this Shrine Bowl for those guys. And, you've already said it, and I've said it too, but these guys, they're not new to the spotlight, obviously. But this is, like, the first time this week where it's going to be live on the field. They do some live stuff at practice. They do team. But there was no full pad days.
Right.
They were all in shells. There was no really taking to the ground yet. Sometimes there are some tackles that just inevitably happen or guys fall over or whatever. But this is live, man. So I think this is really going to be an opportunity to see particularly the two safeties finally go out and do their thing. It's been all about the wide receivers at practice this week, and rightfully so. They balled out.
Yeah.
But Cam and Shilo, what they do best is they play in the box. They make plays in the run game. They play physical football. They deliver massive hits. So those things are going to be felt tonight, and it's going to be really their case tonight as to why they belong on this stage and in the NFL.
100%. And Eric Gulko, the director of the Shrine Bowl, was on Good Morning Football on NFL Network this morning, and he was asked specifically about Shilo. And Gulko said that, listen, Shilo came in immediately and kind of asserted himself, established himself as a leader on that West team defense. And obviously we saw Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig, at least during one practice with the green dot, that obviously denotes that he's kind of the communication guy for the defense when they're out on the field, kind of that liaison between the coach and the players out there between the hash marks or whatnot. But again, this is a good opportunity for both of those guys in particular. These receivers kind of made their hay because 1-on-1s is kind of where you get the clips, and 7-on-7 is kind of where receivers are, kind of meant to shine. But these defensive backs, especially guys who are known for coming down and kind of laying the wood and putting their pads on people, 7-on-7, 1-on-1 is not their opportunity to show what they can really do. But tonight is their chance to do just that, and that's kind of the main thing I'm looking for, man. I want to see a big Shilo hit, man. I want to see Cam get his hand on the football, whether it be a pick, a scoop and score, something like that. Something we saw obviously in 2024. I think this is a big night, even more so probably for those defensive guys and the receivers who we've already seen make plays the last few days.
Absolutely. A little bit of predictions here. Which wide receiver do you think really steps up and elevates their game above the rest tonight? Is it your boy? Go ahead, bro.
I think that'll be LaJohntay Wester, man. I think third down, man. I think red zone. You feel me? We can get into it, man. I don't know how you can really look at, if you're a receiver, you look out your options. If you're a quarterback, excuse me, you look at your options as a receiver on the football field, and you see number 10 out there, LaJohntay Wester in the slot. Whatever his matchup is, you should like your chances, bro. And again, it's the whip, it's the inside slant, it's getting vertical, playing off leverage of linebackers and safeties. I think LaJohntay Wester is going to open up some more eyes. And again, he's going to get opportunity to do it as well in the return game.
Yep.
And we know he's electric in that aspect as well. So I think LaJohntay Wester is going to pop off tonight, but could easily be Will Sheppard, could easily be Jimmy Horn Jr., especially with LaJohntay and Jimmy. All it takes is one catch.
Right.
All it takes is one play, one broken tackle, and they're going to flash that speed and go to distance. So, I'm looking forward to what those receivers are going to do tonight. But I think LaJohntay is in for a huge night. Who do you think?
Yeah, I mean, LaJohntay, just what he's been doing at practice. I mean, Will's probably had the highlights of the week. LaJohntay did have one as well, but I think LaJohntay's been just the strongest, most consistent player at practices. We already know what he is. He gets open in a phone booth. He catches everything thrown his way.
Yeah.
And, he's willing to lay out for the football as well. Like, he's really a quarterback's best friend at wide receiver. I think you're going to see that from him, whether it's Brosmer, who we'll get to was probably the best quarterback for the West team this week. But I'm telling you, all those quarterbacks looked for him at practice. Yeah. They know what they have in him. Will has been really consistent as well. I think he's probably been the biggest winner so far in practices. And Jimmy Horn, that speed, what he has in terms of speed and game-breaking ability, I wouldn't be surprised if you see, or maybe a reverse or like.
Oh yeah,
they're going to scheme something up for him just to get him out in space. So I think he will have an opportunity not just in the return game but on offense. I think to have a massive gain and really make an impression in that regard.
I mean, you had to think Jimmy probably the fastest player on that team, right?
I think so.
Right.
I think LaJohntay might be second, honestly.
That's crazy. And that's a good point you bring about the trick play. Like, if I would feel like there has to be at least one drawn up, a reverse or something. Mm-hmm. And again, if he's the fastest player of the team, you would think that he's kind of be the guy who would kind of be the beneficiary of, kind of that misdirection trick play, et cetera, et cetera. So that'd be cool to say. And just quickly, too, on Shilo, I saw somebody comment that I agree with, talking about he's going to shine in game. He's not, a true covered defensive back. And trying to judge Shilo Sanders on what you see in one-on-ones against running receivers and tight ends, pass-catching tight ends, what you see in 7-on-7 where, again, he's playing a free safety, starting 20 yards off the ball, and you have to come downhill and kind of react kind of based off, what you see a quarterback do. That's like judging, LaJohntay on his blocking prowess. That's not what he on the field to do. Shilo Sanders not on the field to guard receivers, tight ends in one-on-one situations. He's there for run support, and that's why he's potentially going to make an NFL, practice squad or roster or potentially get drafted. It's not because of his cover skills, so it's just super disingenuous to solely judge him on something that he's not even really coveted. That's not a coveted trait of his, so just wanted to say that as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's been some nasty work about Shilo on Twitter and just on social media recently, they're taking the absolute worst clips they possibly can from his practices and putting it together. Stuff that he's like, it's not even his responsibility, but it's like, he's running to the flat in cover 3 and they're throwing to like the hook curl to the tight end right there. It's like, what do you want him to do? Like, that's literally not his job to be in that area. So Shilo's a lightning rod. We know that. It's not new to us at least, and I'm sure to a lot of the people listening and watching as well. But it's just a shame that, let's not forget, he's still like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, he is an older player, but he is a kid trying to achieve a dream, and there's just people out there openly shitting on him because his last name is Sanders and because he had some hard hits in the season that people didn't like, basically.
And I want to say this too. I'm sure Shilo would never bring this up, but let's not forget the fact that I think objectively, he had a really good 2023 season. His first year at Colorado was
great last year.
I mean, he led the team in tackles. He obviously had a pick 6. I mean, multiple big hits, multiple forced fumbles in 2023. And then, obviously, going into 2024, actually, after 2023 season, he had the shoulder injury, right? Or there was speculation of whether he would miss some games going into 2024 season. Yeah. He obviously was ready for week 1. Week 1 was kind of a weird game for kind of the defensive whole as a whole against NDSU. Week 2, second drive, he breaks his forearm.
Yep.
And he's out
Nebraska,
pretty much. Nebraska, sorry. That one week 2?
No, it was week 2.
Okay, yeah. Nebraska, he breaks his forearm second play or second drive of the game. And then from there, he's out, damn near 2 months. And he comes back and you would expect some rust. And that's obviously what we saw. But again, to pretend that, he just kind of fell off a cliff and to ignore, obviously, the injury, I think is, again, a bit disingenuous, but such is life when we're talking about the Sanders family.
Absolutely. And look, I mean, Shilo coming back from that injury, the K-State game was bad, right?
Yes.
It was just bad.
Was that his first game back from injury?
First game back from injury. And he was playing with the cast and stuff this year. Cast is gone. He just looks quick out on the football field. Yeah. And as you mentioned with the Good Morning Football hit from the director of the Shrine Bowl, Eric Galco, he is basically being seen as a leader. Him and Cam were running the secondary for these guys at practice the last week or so. So
because they're used to that.
Exactly. And they were doing it together as well, something they did all the time at Colorado and at Jackson State. So I'd expect to see that quite a bit this tonight in the Shrine game as well. And I think they'll be in position to make plays. All right, a couple more predictions, and then we'll hit the all-practice teams. Real quick, who will have the play of the game? One of the 5.
Will Sheppard's going to make a nasty catch. Head taps. I can see it right now. Who do you think?
I'm going to pick Cam, I think.
Ooh.
I'm telling these safeties, man, they've been in the box, and it's funny because you just see them, running full speed up until like the last 2 yards or whatever of the ball carrier.
Man, I wish they put my boy Cam in a better number, man. He deserved better. That 37 is low-key petty. And I saw a picture of all of them together, and Cam was like crossing his arms over his chest, and somebody was like, he hates his number. And I was like, I'll feel it, man. And I thought it was quite funny how you put together like Coach Prime, wore 37 back in the ring, and you ask somebody, he was like, hell no, they just gave me that shit. Yeah. That had me dead. But I mean, yeah, that's just kind of what happens at these all-star events. There's only so many numbers to go around.
There's Jimmy in the 17 as well.
Yeah, right.
Jimmy kind of rocked the 17.
He could have got a much worse number, but 17, yeah, I can see that actually on him. But yeah, 37 was a little petty, but regardless, Cam gonna ball.
That he will. All right, let's take our first break. We'll continue with Shrine Bowl preview stuff. Shout out to the homies at Elevations Credit Union, sexiest credit card in the game, in world history, actually. Put it in the record books that the Go Bus Visa Signature Rewards card, best credit card of all time. It's just emblazoned with that CU logo, man. Got tons of benefits, too. That for everyday spending, it's associated with CU as well. I think you get 3% cash back at select CU tickets and merchants, 2% cash back on restaurants, gas, streaming, and phone plans, 1% cash back on daily spending. And, of course, every single swipe, Elevations will donate 2 cents to the CU student athletes through NIL. So directly contribute to the success of CU student athletes and get a little bonus money, cash back in your pocket with the SCO Buffs Visa Signature Rewards card, the only official credit card of CU Athletics, only at Elevations Credit Union. Visit buffscreditcard.com to apply and see full card benefits and details.
And shout out to the homies over at Game Time, man. I don't get to as many live sporting events as a true fan as I should, but whenever I do, I'm rocking with Game Time, man. Take the guesswork right out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BUFFS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Shout out to the homies at Game Time. Last one, Cam or Shilo. Who's going to have the biggest hit tonight?
Shilo.
Headache Gang CEO for sure.
Period. He's going to remind people, man.
He will. Raquel's asking, is the game live streaming tonight? It's on NFL Network.
Yep.
So, yeah, some all-practice team stuff came out. And I got to say, I'm going to pat myself on the back a bit here because, of course, I was focused on the Colorado kids. Yep. But some guys did stand out to me, and it seems like the East-West Shrine Bowl, I think these were voted on actually by the coaches coaching the teams.
Right.
So for the West team, the quarterback was Max Brosmer, the Minnesota quarterback. He's the one who had that beautiful throw over the middle of the field to LaJohntay on the first day of practices.
Back in the end zone.
Yep, splitting that Tampa too. Taj Brooks at running back, again, kind of the same thing. Running backs, there's not really much to say. We'll find out for sure more today. Wide receiver, though, Scotty. After 4 days of watching those boys ball out and easily be the best receivers out there, they only list one standout wide receiver. Just one.
And that's my biggest issue.
I know. How is there not a full three?
How is there only one?
And it's Antoine Wells from Ole Miss, who he had some plays. He did really well. I do not think he was better than Will Sheppard or LaJohntay Wester or Jimmy Horn, for that matter, in practices this week.
Yeah, I mean, you were there. So I trust your judgment, bro.
How many clips you were watching for clips? How many Antoine Wells clips did you see?
I didn't, bro. I mean, I real life dead ass cannot recall a single Juice Wells, kind of highlight worthy clip. Not to say that they didn't have any.
He had some great plays.
I'm sure he did. But again, I think it's more disappointing and weird that they only listed one receiver for the all-practice team, for the West team.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going to go with one, I think, again, LaJohntay Wester, the plays that Will Sheppard made, again, not only in team, but also in 7-on-7 as well, I thought that they would have at least been in consideration, and maybe they were, and they just decided to go with the one receiver, and they thought they gave Juice Wells the edge, but I don't know. It's interesting.
It is very interesting. Jalen Conyers gets it for tight end. He was very involved as well. Holland Pierce, the offensive tackle from Rutgers. This kid is a walk-on.
Yeah, that's like the huge, 6'7" dude, right?
Yes, he's 6'7", 340, and he was a walk-on. Insane stuff.
Jordan Phillips was impressive all week, though. The defensive lineman from Maryland.
Yeah, the Indiana kid had a standout couple days of practice, too.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping up Shrine Bowl stuff here. Our guy, Fran Duffy, he works for PHLY. He's been doing NFL draft stuff for a long, long time. He was out at the Shrine Bowl practice as well and kind of gave out his superlatives for what we saw ahead of this game. He did not have a Colorado wide receiver, but he listed Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig as a standout safety. And it just matches up with basically what we've been telling you since, I don't know, the first day of practices out there, what we've been talking about earlier in this show. Like, those guys are in position. They're flying around. It's just you're not going to get any highlights. You're not going to see them knock anyone to the floor. So shout out to Cam Silmon-Craig. Obviously made an impression, and we'll get to as well tonight. Play of the weeks. He had LaJohntay's catch down the middle of the field. And I think, I mean, for me, it's the Will Sheppard catch.
Yeah.
But LaJohntay's, that one's right behind in terms of play of the week. So shout out to those boys.
And again, that's just something that I can just see him doing consistently at the next level. Mm-hmm. With how much, kind of two safety looks have kind of taken over the NFL nowadays, with teams trying to keep everything in front of them and eliminate explosive plays. The middle of the field is going to be wide open. And if you can dominate and kind of navigate the middle of the field as well as LaJohntay Wester consistently does, you're going to be a quarterback's best friend, like LaJohntay was for Shilo Sanders in 2024. And again, I can see that. I just pray LaJohntay Wester gets into a situation with a good quarterback, a great play caller, because it's up from there.
No doubt, bro. All right, that's all I got for Shrine Bowl stuff. Again, 6 p.m. tonight, Mountain Time. Can't wait to watch the boys ball out.
Same, man.
Let's go to recruiting. There's been a lot of ratings updates, like final rankings being put out by all the major outlets, 247, On3, and ESPN. The big news coming from this is On3 putting some respect on Quentin Gibson's name and giving him that 4-star. So he's now a 4-star rated wide receiver by ESPN and On3, 247 and Rivals, SMH.
Welcome to the club, On3. You had to wait until
now.
Right.
For now.
You had to wait until my guy was already early enrolled at Colorado to, change his rating to what it rightfully should be. I mean, I guess the 30-plus receiving touchdowns this season, the 3 receiving touchdowns in the state championship game, which was a Texas State record, just wasn't enough for you. But I'm glad we came to your senses over at On3. But yeah, shout out to Quentin Gibson, man. I can't wait to see him in like 6 months after going through a full kind of winter and spring, strength and conditioning, with Coach Swayze. Mm-hmm. That's going to be crazy. He's going to transform his body. The talent is undeniable. And again, with that receiving group that is pretty young, pretty kind of unproven, for the exception of maybe a couple guys, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Quentin kind of etched himself a role in kind of that receiving room as early on as week 1 here in 2025.
I mean, if anything, he's going to be in a returning/gadget role, and that's like the absolute floor for him this year.
Yeah.
I don't really know if you can put a ceiling in terms of production, for his freshman season, because it's just a wild card, but he's going to be involved. He's going to have some flash plays, and he definitely deserves that 4-star after having probably one of, if not the best season in Texas high school history for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of carried his team to a state title.
From a receiver.
From a receiver position.
At 5'8", 5'9".
Exactly. Insanely impressive stuff.
Crazy.
So where Colorado lands in these rankings, on 247, they are the number 39 team. And on 3, they're up to number 32. That's actually their highest ranking, number 32. ESPN has them at 34.
Yep.
And they are, again, they had Quentin Gibson as a 4-star for a minute. So, and they still have Julian Lewis, I think, as a 5-star on ESPN.
I believe so.
The Buffs had 4 300 ESPN 300 top commits as well. That was tied for most in the Big 12, I believe, right?
Yeah, with TCU. At least on ESPN's rankings, Colorado's like 4th in the Big 12 in terms of these 2025. This 2025 class, which is pretty solid. And ESPN, again, this just came out, their kind of top 75 recruiting classes for 2025. That just dropped today on ESPN Plus. But They jumped up a spot from 35 on ESPN. But, they mentioned Christian Hudson, who is a prospect who tested well in camp settings, is an explosive defender with active hands and good mobility on film. And that's somebody who I think has kind of been flying on the radar. As much as we like to talk about, London Maynard and Alexander McPherson, and rightfully so, Christian Hudson was a really highly sought-after guy who offers from pretty much everybody a true 4-star. I mean, the boy calls himself Baby Sap. And again, when you watch him on film, the similarities kind of jump out at you. So I think Christian Hudson is going to be somebody who will make this class, again, kind of one of the best in the country, certainly one of the best in the Big 12. And obviously when you have Julian Lewis, the receivers, Quanell, Quentin, Adrian Wilson, this class is like low-key dope, even though it's only, 15, 16 deep, something like that. So, and you add that to what they've done in the portal, future's bright.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we've touched on that a handful of times that, the recruiting stuff, it might not be the quantity that the experts and others may not see as ideal, but they are getting quality football players, and it's been proven over the last 2 seasons, 2023 and 2024. Seeing Carter Stoutmeyer come in and contribute right away as a freshman. Multiple guys, Dylan Edwards, what he did in his first year, Micah last year, Amari Miller, of course, and then Draylon Miller last year. Like, they just know how to find freshmen, and they're doing that right now. They're going out looking for the next group of Buffs for the 2026 class and beyond, actually. Multiple CU coaches, damn near the whole staff, actually, out recruiting the country over the last few days.
Out on road.
And they are going after some of the very, very best prospects in the 2026 recruiting class. A guy that we've mentioned quite a bit already on this show, Dorian Barney.
Oh, yeah.
The 2026 cornerback from Carrollton, Georgia, where Julian is from. 247 currently has him rated as the 100th overall player, 9th-ranked cornerback in the 2026 class. Coach Kevin Mathis was out there hanging out with him yesterday, doing a visit at his school. Of course, the connections between Carrollton, CU, Julian, and Coach Prime are endless. Even Zach Owens, though, kind of from that area in Georgia, quote tweeting Dorian Barney's tweet, "Lil' brother, come home." It's already starting.
Trez be working, man.
Trez doing it too. That was one thing that stood out to me. Seeing all these tweets. It was multiple players, like younger players too, stepping up into a role that's maybe not even different for them. Like, man, Trez has been doing this. A lot of these guys kind of have been doing this, but this is how you continue to bring these blue chip guys into the program,
bro. And I feel like it started with Shedeur, bro.
For sure.
The public kind of recruiting of guys in the transfer portal, and I'll never forget the backlash that Shedeur and Shilo in particular got, kind of last cycle for just wanting to help improve their team, like do something that everybody pretty much does behind closed doors.
Yes.
But because they did it on social media publicly, they were clowned for it, and you kind of trash for it, and trying to help make their team better. And again, get guys in from the transfer portal. One of which, obviously, being LaJohntay Wester. Again, I'll never forget how.
Oh no!
Reeve talking about the way Jake said, "Brother." You did kind of say that well. I'm not gonna lie.
I just read the tweet, bro. I just read the tweet.
But I mean, again, that public recruitment literally ended up with LaJohntay Wester being a Buff. And again, if LaJohntay Wester wasn't a Buff, I mean, the 2024 season goes drastically different and not in a good way. So I love that the young guys in particular, like you mentioned, Trez and some of the others, even as freshmen, it's kind of already in their mind to, we got to go out there and recruit. If we want to reach the heights that we want to reach, it's going to be a team effort. We're going to need as many guys in here as possible. And you just love to see that from the young guys who already get that. And that was part of the reason why I'm so high on Trez as well. Like, he might not have the measurables, he might not be the fastest or the biggest, strongest or anything like that, but the dude just gets it from a football perspective.
Yes.
And you can kind of work with the rest of that, and I think he's going to be a player.
I think so as well, man. And he's from a pipeline state, city, and high school.
Georgia.
More players being targeted in those pipelines, and we'll list them here on the other side of this break. Man, I love my Toyota. Is what RK would say if he was sitting right here with us. But shout out to Toyota. Some of the most reliable, toughest vehicles on the road. All kinds of options too. Hybrids, trucks, sports cars, all that good stuff. And you got multiple locations out here on the Front Range to check it all out. Shout out to them for their roadside assistance as well. Comes with every Toyota. It literally saved RK and I from the highway a few weeks ago. So shout out to those guys over at the Toyota Road Service Department. We appreciate you.
Bless you.
Bless you. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of Sea Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. You want to tell the people about Circle K?
Man, do I miss Circle K, man. I can't even think about Circle K without just getting sad a little bit. Thinking about the Stampede and how well they treated us.
So many good times.
But luckily for us, man, we can still hop into a Circle K pretty much anytime we want, man.
It's like, like taste and smell, how that invokes memories.
Yeah.
You walk into a Circle K and you already get the Stampede vibes. Yeah.
Just nostalgia, bro.
Exactly.
As soon as I walk in. I love it, man. I want y'all to experience that as well, man. Download the Circle K app and sign up for Inner Circle for exclusive offers. New offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded every single week. Shout out Circle K.
Hell yeah, man. Stay fueled up in your Toyota with Circle K.
Definitely.
Okay, some guys to watch out for, some more 2026 targets. We're still waiting for this Coach Prime extension.
Yes, we are.
But they have been relentlessly recruiting the 2026 class. The 2027 class at that. I think Adam at 247 Sports had an article today about they offered someone from St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida who's a 2027 kid, and he was saying that it seems the 2027 class is a point of emphasis out there, at least at that high school, if I read that correctly. So shout out Adam Munster Tiger. But
definitely.
Guys to look out for. Dorian Barney, who we've already talked about. Anthony Davis Jr. from Grayson High School in Loganville, Georgia. Grayson's who played Carrollton in the title game, right?
I knew that sounded familiar. Yeah, definitely.
So Grayson is a powerhouse out there, and they've been out there a few times. The coaching staff has been out there. Anthony Davis, though, appears to be a target. The 6'2", 200-pound linebacker, 225th overall player, 18th ranked linebacker in the 2026 class. Next, we've got Chris Stewart from Shadow Creek High School in Pearland, Texas. He's actually a Texas commit, but he is the 144th overall player, 19th ranked wide receiver in this class, 6 foot 175. I'll get who is out visiting all these guys in a second. Rodney Colton Jr. is a athlete. I believe he plays linebacker as well from Noonan, Georgia. 127th overall player, 11th ranked linebacker. And Vodney Cleveland from Parker High School in Birmingham, Alabama. The 107th overall player and 11th ranked defensive lineman in the 2026 class. All of these guys got visits from Coach Prime's staff. Who was out there? So, Sedarian Morgan, Corey Phillips, Director of Player Personnel, was out there, seeing him. Dorian Barney, we already mentioned Kevin Mathis. Coach Andre Hart out visiting, and Anthony Davis Jr. out in Grayson High School. Coach Box, shout out Darius Darden Box.
Definitely.
Visiting Christopher Stewart, who is the Texas commit out in Texas. And then, who else do we have? Vodney Cleveland. Also had Corey Phillips out at Parker High School in Alabama. So, there you go. They are gunning for the best of the best in this class.
Yeah. This recruiting staff been going crazy, man. Shout out Coach Box. Obviously, shout out Corey Phillips as well. I mean, they've been outside to use the term, and this is the time to do it. I mean, coming off a 9-win season, again, you can kind of preach to these young guys too that you saw what we can do when we get the players. Now it's about continuing to add to what we've been kind of put on display, at least in 2024. And this is where it starts, man. This is the offseason in recruiting. getting ready for the 2026 to 2027 classes. I've also noticed like a big emphasis too on tight ends in both classes.
Yeah.
Like they've been issuing offers to some tight ends
and
it
running
seems
backs
like,
too.
and running backs. You love to see it. And again, you can kind of always, we've talked about this, you can kind of always tell how a recruiting staff kind of feels about its roster based on what positions they choose to kind of target, whether that be out of high school ranks or, out of the transfer portal. And obviously, again, they didn't add a running back, out of the high school class or the transfer portal class in this year, which, because you got 3 kind of young guys, sophomore or younger, kind of in that running back room. But moving forward, that tight end spot, that running back spot, that's got to be an emphasis for this program moving forward. If you want to compete in the Big 12, if you want to compete for a college football playoff spot, and you love to see that attention kind of being placed where it needs to be at this point.
I think linebacker is another position. I think we just read off like 3 of them here, at least 2. But they've been hitting the portal for linebacker the last couple seasons. That was a really big position of need/want, especially during 2023 as well. I think they really targeted that position for 2023. Weren't able to really make it happen that offseason. They had Juju Mitchell come in. He kind of stabilized it for a bit. And then he had his stuff going on. They moved Trevor down there. They do all this stuff, right? So, of course, they go get the 2 guys in the portal this year, too. But it looks like they're trying to get young guys, someone else in there with Mantrez, at least one more, maybe even more, to compete with him and just have a young core in that linebacker room.
Definitely, because if I'm not mistaken, both French and Reggie are on their last year of eligibility, right?
I think they're both JUCO rule beneficiaries, too.
So, yeah, it's got to address the future of that position ASAP for sure.
No doubt, man. Okay, our boy, shout out to him, Travis Hunter. Making history again, man. He's already great on the football field. We know this, right?
Kind of, yeah.
And we know he's great in the classroom. We know that,
Very
right?
much so.
I mean, wins a Heisman Trophy while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. But guess what? He is the first player in CU history to be named a unanimous first-team All-American and first-team academic All-American. I believe he's only the 3rd Heisman Trophy player or trophy winner to ever accomplish that feat.
That's crazy, dog. Another feather in his cap, man. A one-of-one person, a one-of-one player for sure. And I forget. I think it might have been on Trav's actual podcast here recently. He was just talking about the impact that Cam has had on him over the last couple of years. And I just thought that was so dope. Like, that's somebody, Cam is somebody who's like a big figure in Travis's Heisman story. You know what I'm saying? Like, Travis talked about the last 2 years, like, they pretty much been workout partners. Like, every time they lift, like, they're right there locked in. Like, Travis said that he got his study habits, his film habits from Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig. And again, if you're an NFL front office listening to that, I would be taking notes. If you don't already know that about Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig, I mean, the fact that he was able to impact the Heisman Trophy, one of the best player in college football on that level, is super special. But I mean, congrats to Travis Hunter. That is some elite one-of-one stuff. And again, another feather in his cap. Definitely the best player in college football. That's awesome.
As I said, the 3rd Heisman Trophy winner to do it. The other 2 were Florida's Danny Werfel and Tim Tebow. Something about those Florida guys, I guess, doing it in the classroom and on the football field. But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And what Rick George said, the AD of Colorado, kind of quote tweeted this as, "Congrats, Travis Hunter. You've set a high standard for future Buffs." And it's absolutely true, man. He's kind of redefined the football program in a way. He's made them a lot more attractive, I think, to recruits, but to also like the general population. Like, Colorado football's on the map, partly, Coach Prime, of course, but what Travis Hunter has done for the university too is massive. And to do it while also being, a model student, just a model person as well. He's truly one of one in every regard. So shout out to Trav, just continuing to do the unprecedented and the impossible, man.
And that's another reason why all the foolishness that came out in the aftermath of the Heisman Trophy ceremony was so fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is what you want out of an elite athlete. from a player perspective, a person perspective. Like he talks about all the time, bro, I just like to play football and fish and sit at the crib in my onesie and play the game and stream. You know what I'm saying? And chill with my girl. Like that's it. Like he's not outside. He's not doing nothing crazy. He's respectful as ever. And he's an absolute dog on the football field as well. And yet some people will still find a reason to hate on that young man. It's pretty sick, but you know, Trav is just going to continue to rise above it. And that's just what happens when you're great. I mean, great attracts hate, you know, simply put. So Trav has gotten used to it. He's got obviously a great kind of supporting circle, obviously led by, you know, his family, Coach Prime and everybody as well. So, yeah.
It just shows that no matter what you are, how great you are, there's just always going to be people hating. Like, if you find a way to hate on Travis Hunter, there's almost like no saving you, bro.
You got to look inward, man.
Yeah, for real. So that's crazy. And, you know, I'm glad it's kind of over, too, because it really was egregious for a minute there.
It was kind of sickening, bro.
It really was.
It was like every day. It's like, bruh. Yes, I did say foo, man. Y'all, if y'all from Chicago, you know, it's F-U. It's not F-O-O. It's F-U.
That's how they say it in Albuquerque, too.
For real? Yeah. Foo. Y'all foo.
All right. Last thing I got. This day last year, the Big 12 schedule came out.
Oh.
We've heard nothing about it.
Not a peep.
To this point. I'm here to save y'all. Tuesday. Keep an eye out for Tuesday. We will be out at the Super Bowl. So there's going to be a lot going on. But we will, I don't know if it'll be a live reaction, but we will react to the schedule in some regard, and we'll definitely talk about it on the show.
That'll be cracking.
But you have that to look forward to. So
yeah,
you finally get all your season plans and all that done.
Because the slate is, obviously we know the teams.
We know the teams
that they're playing, but we're going to be finding out. We even know the
non-conference.
Right, we're going to be finding out date, time, or maybe not even time, probably just date.
Well,
right?
Time, yeah. That's the thing with college football, right? I mean, you get put on that 10-day exception or whatever it is, and it's always trying to figure things out 2 weeks ahead of time. So,
because I think it was just maybe one game that the time
I think it was the Oklahoma
slotted.
State game.
Right,
yeah,
the last game of the year. And the rest of them, the time was kind of TBD. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be dope because, again, the schedule, we know the opponents, and the opponents are, it's going to make for a fun schedule. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of where exactly these games kind of land on the calendar. Yeah, I'm excited for that for sure. Jake with the scoop. Let's go.
It's a loaded home slate, too. And look, this schedule, I think, is really going to work out to CU's benefit as well because of the fact that we have 7 home games this year. All 3 non-conference games are in Boulder, Colorado, which is massive.
Yeah.
So then you add in half of the Big 12 schedule, that gets you to 7. The 5 road trips being Houston, Manhattan, Fort Worth, Salt Lake, and Morgantown. All great destinations, by the way.
Maybe.
I
don't know. I heard something the other day about Morgantown. I don't know about Morgantown. I'm a little skeptical about West Virginia. I ain't gonna lie.
I'll need to dig into that.
We'll see though. But no, the rest of them, I agree. I'm excited to get to Houston for sure.
Yep. Fort Worth is gonna be crazy.
I was just about to say, y'all been hyping up Fort Worth since 2023, so I'm excited to go there. And I've heard good things about Salt Lake as well. And then what's that 5th in addition to Morgantown?
Manhattan. We're going to Kansas State.
Yeah. Should be a good environment.
Yeah. We'll see about the 10 p.m. Eastern games.
I can't do too many more of those. I ain't gonna lie.
Those are rough, man. And yes, we do have a loaded home slate this year, so they could do it to us. I have faith though that I think things will be a little bit more normal this year. I'm not saying no 10 p.m. games. Like, I'm sure they'll give us at least a couple, but
probably at least 2.
Yeah.
Do you what was I about to say? Just something. You think every game will be nationally televised again?
Yes, 100%. I mean, so the only ones that I really have pause over are like week 2 and week 3. Week 3 maybe not so, but week 2 against Delaware, like, all due respect, Delaware. You're a great football program. A lot of great players, storied history. But Colorado should win that game handily. And if there's any game to not be national televised, I think it might be that one.
I'm sorry. I was laughing at a comment. Which opponent were you just talking about? I'm laughing at D1
The mighty
Chase.
Delaware Blue Hens, bro.
Oh, yeah, right. D1 Chase.
Put some respect on their name.
Hey, you don't want to hey, Delaware might have, you feel me? They might have a little squad. You never know. I feel like they got a cold uniform. Aren't they like light blue and like
it's basically
right?
like Michigan like winged helmets, but it's like a lighter blue.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a guy at the Shrine Bowl too.
Home of the Fighting Joe Flacco's, right?
The Fighting Joe Flacco's, yes, sir. SN Services says Delaware was 9-2 last year, so they're a solid program for sure.
Decent.
Maybe a little. I don't think. Look, NDSU, of course, is the national title winner, but
right.
It's not a pushover FCS team. You know, you could have scheduled way worse games, I think, than that. So, all right, let's get to the chat. Let's get to questions. Hit that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Really, send your questions now. MLN. Is there any way to verify if Marshall Faulk is joining CU staff? Feel like we've been in a wait-and-see mode. Nothing has been official, other than beat reporters claiming the Hall of Famer is coming. We're waiting on a lot of staff hires. I don't know what we're waiting on, but remember last offseason, it took quite a long time to get some of those guys into place. So patience. Patience is key. You got that TZ super chat from yesterday, too.
Oh, yeah.
East Coast Kev, what's up, bro? I'm not going to crash out all the way, but the fact that Will Sheppard didn't get a combine invite is wild. Perhaps they need to evaluate the people evaluating talent. I think we still have a little bit of time for this.
I think there's still a chance he could get one, yeah. I don't think we've hit a window where that is passed. But I agree, man. And again, this is another opportunity for him tonight, potentially. During the Shrine game to show that he deserves that combine invite. But either way, I think there's still a chance that he could still earn one. Because, again, LaJohntay's only came out, 2 days ago?
Yep, a couple days ago. This stuff takes time.
Yeah.
We still have a month. And I think I can't imagine it's anything more than like 2 weeks, or maybe a week before the combine, where they put out the actual list of attendees. So... patience. I think Will did enough this week, though, that he should be earning himself a combine invite.
And again, much like LaJohntay, they've had a lot of career production before they even stepped foot in Colorado.
Yeah, like I'm sure the scouts are plenty aware of Will Sheppard.
And I'm sure he was on probably scouts' radars just after his Vanderbilt career, again, before he even transferred to Colorado.
Sure.
So
no, I think that's another thing that gets overlooked in this process, too, is like, it's very rare that there's like a true like senior who just like stands out at one of these games, and it's like, oh, like we need to learn more about this guy. Like the depth and the width that the NFL teams cover when it comes to scouting. I mean, they do uncover damn near every stone that they can find, and they're talking to these guys and learning about them way ahead of time too. So like this year, of course, there were a lot of scouts at practice, and of course, Shador Travis in the conversation. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to get some info on Omari Miller.
Facts.
Get some info on DJ McKinney. Jordan Seaton, exactly. Yeah. Like this due diligence and groundwork is done way ahead of time. They're very familiar with these guys throughout the years of their college career. So Will made a lot of noise as a freshman in Vanderbilt and had a great career there. So I'm sure he's on radars, and I'm hopeful he'll get a combine invite pretty soon. Over under on CU penalties this upcoming season. Oh, geez.
How many do you think they had this year?
Is this an average or total?
I got total penalties called.
I know they were one of the most penalized teams in the country.
They were the most in the Big 12.
It's at least, 10-ish a game? 115 penalties last season?
100 on the dot.
Really?
100 on the dot. 67 yards of penalties a game.
Terrible. Let me look up a stat, actually, because I think in terms of penalties per game, they're up there too.
That's crazy though. 100 across 13 I mean, yeah, what's that? What's 100
So
divided by
offensively,
13?
they were 31st in the country in offensive penalties per game. They averaged 7.7 penalties per game on offense. And then on defense, they were the 7th most penalized team in the country with 7.6. So damn near 13 penalties a game they averaged. Or maybe less. No,
I think it's just 7 total. 7.7 total, I think. Penalties a game.
Oh, okay. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, that has to get better.
What's their over under?
Over under?
It was 7. Pretty much it was 7.5 this year. They averaged.
This can't go on for forever. I'm gonna say under.
Facts. So am I.
Ray John asks, "Is Shador playing in the actual game?" Shador's not. Shador's not doing any football activities at the Shrine Bowl. I think he's actually. I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already gone. Actually, just out training with DC or something somewhere. So, if you didn't see today, a lot of the Senior Bowl guys left early.
Yes.
So I'm actually proud of the national media not really getting too up in arms about Shador opting out of the football activities, because it would have been another embarrassing egg on the face situation if you go crazy about that and then you see 7 potential first rounders from the Senior Bowl just decide they don't want to do it anymore if you're doing 2 practices.
I was gonna say, bro, it kind of goes back to what you said earlier. Nowadays, it's like if you get 1 or 2 clips, peacing out.
I mean, shoot,
you know what I'm saying?
LaJohntay, should he have done it after the first day, after that catch?
Will after the second? Yeah, like I'm done. What I'm risking at this point? You know what I'm saying? I'll wait to the combine or pro day, whatever.
No, shout out to the CU guys for staying and competing the whole way, man. I don't think it, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think stuff like that matters. Like if you opt out or leave a bowl game.
Right.
But I do think it does matter when a team notices that, hey, you came out and competed all 5 days. You played in the game. You did all the interviews. So, yeah.
I think our guy Fran Duffy just tweeted about that this morning in terms of somebody. Did you see that?
Look it up while I do this super chat real quick. Big Teasy's got a bone to pick with Scott. He says, I tried to DM him.
It said only verified people can message him, but he is not verified. Has some insight in for you. Yeah, I'm not verified, TZ, so I don't know what's up with that. And people be DMing me all the time, and I don't follow them, and me and them don't be verified, so I don't know what's up with that. But, yeah, man, I'm gonna hit you with a follow. You better have some real info for me in my DM, though, man. You better not be playing around. But I got you. Say less.
Yeah, no playing around, TZ.
But no, Fran Duffy was talking about Walter Nolan, obviously one of the best defensive tackles in this draft. Apparently, he got nicked up on day 2 with a little injury, but he's still out there for day 3. And Fran Duffy goes, when Walter Nolan is drafted 3 months from now, I'm willing to bet that the GM/coach references in the press conference how he was out here all 3 days of practice, even after getting dinged up on day 2. So
exactly,
100%. Y'all got me bent also too, talking about I eat my pizza with a fork.
You eat your pizza with a fork?
Come on, man. What does that say? Food on the separator tray with a sippy cup. Yeah, I was wilding, man. Y'all got to chill.
Why do you eat pizza with a fork?
I don't know, bro. Y'all be saying anything. Bro, I ain't even had no pizza in a minute. I ain't gonna lie.
The best part about pizza is how convenient it is, because you just can
actually
hold the thing.
Well, actually, I'm gonna say something kind of controversial. I have cut some pizza before, some deep dish pizza. Like some deep dish pizza got to get cut. I'm not gonna lie. Like with a fork and a knife. That's not how I eat my pizza. Obviously, I'm a Chicago style. You feel me, with the squares, and obviously you don't eat pizza with a fork. But like Larry knows, deep dish is always with the fork. Thank you. He knows, my guy.
That's fair.
Any other pizza, obviously not. And also, I just don't know where that reckless accusation came from anyway. I'm dead.
Crazy. No food take is safe. Maybe that's something we do this offseason. A draft of our worst food takes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of them, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Not as many as you, man.
Not as many as RK.
I mean... He's coming around, it seems, though.
True. Yeah. I was pretty surprised to hear his in and out. Yeah, in and out thing. That was interesting. Bowling Brick is crazy. Bro.
Some restaurants, they serve deep dish with utensils. I mean, I could see that, man.
I mean, yeah, some you just got to eat.
Because
What's your favorite pizza, though?
favorite pizza?
Yeah.
Like, kind of pizza?
Style.
Style?
Because I'm sure you're not like a fast food pizza guy.
I guess, like, Detroit style pizza, like with the crispy edges and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had that a bunch, but it looks good.
It's amazing.
It looks good.
Yeah, Alyssa's explaining it perfectly. It's like a French bread, like a not as like thin crust, but like not like, I don't know. It's great though. Then they get like, it's in a pan, and then they get the cheese all around the sides, and it just like bakes onto the crust.
For sure. A little crust.
Amazing.
A little crunch to it.
But I'm a pretty plain pizza guy for the most part. I mean, I enjoy, pepperoni, sausage, meat lovers pizza, whatever, but like a margarita pizza.
You got to chill, bro.
We're talking pizza. Y'all are insane.
You agree with Wayne?
No, a good margarita pizza, bro. Like some fresh mozz.
Wayne
basil.
said you rock with the 3 meat pizza. Is that true?
Man.
Chicago style pizza.
King Mar says, I bet Jake eats olives and anchovies, bruh.
Gee, olives has got to be the worst food, bro.
Look, I don't mind olives at all.
Olives are terrible.
I mean, I'm not going to die in a hill about them. And
Bro.
I don't put them on every pizza either.
Bro.
That's crazy.
Olives are foul. Especially
Foul.
black olives. They are disgusting.
Wow.
But no, Chicago style pizza, that tavern style in the square with the little, you feel me, the little table in the middle of the pizza, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Real ones, no.
Table.
The little table, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the
Yes,
little
I do
table. Yeah. Italian Fiesta. My Chicago people, y'all know what it is.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a big
man.
fan of like maybe like a buffalo or like barbecue chicken pizza too.
Interesting.
Shit slaps.
Interesting.
Anything else? At least we're not putting cream cheese on our pizza. What are you laughing at?
Reef.
Y'all
Man.
have sick minds.
You did kind of walk into that. No, I ain't gonna lie.
Sick minds.
Oh, man. Yeah, Illuminati's is good too. It's true. Yeah.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow. RK will be back tomorrow.
Really?
I believe so. I
Go
have
crazy.
Let me double check, actually. I don't want to lie to the chat here.
That's what's up.
He is, at least as far as I know, supposed to be back tomorrow.
Think he's watching right now?
No. No. Also, he's not where I thought he was, but
Yeah, I meant to ask you that after the show yesterday. I was like, yeah, I actually don't even know where he's at now that you mentioned it.
no, I'll tell you. But maybe RK can tell y'all tomorrow, too. We'll see you then, Sko Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.